This video is sponsored by Squarespace. You can make your own beautiful website or online store with this all-in-one platform. Just a quick announcement before we get to the video, my shop just updated. I have a posable shrimp plushie keychain, magnetic frog plushies, phone charms, wooden pins, tons of stickers, a new patch, lots of stuff on my shop. Go check it out. Hi everyone, this video I wanted to talk about sketchbook motivation. Ideas for your sketchbook for when you're feeling stuck, when you want to draw, and you just need a little extra inspiration or motivation to get going. I actually reached out to my Instagram followers to see what you had to say about this topic, and I'm going to be discussing all of the responses in this video while you watch me fill like 3 sketchbook spreads. The first one is a bunch of like sketchy people, the next one is like some cats and then some cat characters. I remember feeling like stuck when I was drawing all of these pages, and I just kept filming content for this video because I just didn't really feel satisfied with a lot of the stuff I drew. Like, it didn't really feel effortless. It kind of felt like I was forcing it out of myself. So maybe these tips will also help me the next time I need a little extra motivation. Now, I'm definitely not gonna be able to get to everybody's response, but I'm gonna like go through random ones. I also noticed a lot of replies say that I don't have motivation. I can't use my sketchbook. I haven't used my sketchbook in over a year. And hopefully this video might help you, might inspire you to go back to your sketchbook or find a new way of making art that doesn't necessarily have to be a sketchbook. You can draw on loose paper, you can just do paintings, you can use an iPad. It can be whatever you want it to be, really. The first one, I give myself little challenges or prompts. I think prompts can definitely be a great way to get started drawing. I just find that sometimes if the prompt is not something that I'm like interested in, then I'm like, I don't want to draw that. But if you're in the right mood and if you have like a collection of prompts that you find interesting, that can be good. I think giving yourself little challenges can be a lot of fun, like especially if there's something that you really want to learn how to draw better, but you're not really sure how. Like hands. Sometimes I get the urge to just draw a bunch of hands because I'm like, I need to draw better hands. I find hands challenging and I really should do some kind of like 100 hand challenge. And I think stuff like that can be really helpful, and prompts are definitely super helpful. The next person says, I decorate it when I first get it and make sure to remember I'm still learning and there's no pressure. That is a really, really great mindset to have. And I try to stick by that mindset too. Especially with these 3 pages, like just to me, they aren't like my most favorite things I've ever done. It's not that I think they're bad. It just didn't really feel right drawing them, but I kept having to reassure myself, this is just a sketchbook. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. And actually one of the first things I did when I got this sketchbook was I put a bunch of fish stickers on the outside because I bought a bunch of stickers from this artist on Instagram that I just found, and I just kind of wanted the outside of the sketchbook to have a like aquatic theme, and since it's purple, the blues of the fish go really well with it. So decorating your sketchbook can definitely make you feel a little more attached to it, and it can also sort of get rid of that like perfect cover feeling. Something I've been wanting to try with decorating the covers is overlapping the stickers, because I never overlap my stickers on top of each other, but I've seen other people do that, and I think that can look really cool. It gives it like a collage effect. I put something in it even if I'm not drawing that day. I glue stuff in to inspire me. I think that's a good way to be less precious with your sketchbook, because even if you're not drawing, you're still like contributing to it, and gluing stuff in can sort of get rid of that blank page fear. Watching other artists' sketchbook videos. I think this can be super, super fun. I really should do that more often. Like, I used to watch sketchbook videos all the time when I was younger, but I don't know if it was actually sketchbook videos, but it was like a drawing update or like all my art types of videos where people would just go through a pile of their art and just show everything that they've drawn so far. And there's this one particular video I would watch over and over, and I found it gave me a lot of inspiration. If you're looking for sketchbook videos, I have tons on my channel. I have videos where I draw on my sketchbook and videos where I flip through it. That's sort of like my main content these days. I keep telling myself that I can't start another one until I finish my current sketchbook, and that motivates me. I kind of do this too. Like, when I start a sketchbook nowadays, I don't like to work in anything else until I'm done with the current sketchbook, it's sort of like an all or nothing attitude. Like I'm either drawing in this sketchbook or I'm not drawing at all. Like it has to be this one and I have to finish it before I start anything else. I don't like using multiple books at once, but I have my next sketchbook already. I just haven't drawn in it, and this one is taking a really long time because there are so many pages in it. I think about my end game. Every drawing, good or bad, brings me closer to my goals. This is so true, and I think this is one of the main driving forces when I was a beginner artist, was thinking about where I could be in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. If you're steadily drawing all that time, you will improve, and you're going to be very surprised when you look back at your old drawings and see how far you have come. I imagine what it'll look like when I'm done with it. That's also true. I think a sketchbook that's been completely filled just has this like look, at least on the outside, where you can see all the pages are a little warped. And you can see it's a little bit more well-loved, a little bit beat up, some wear and tear, and just like flipping through the whole thing is really satisfying. Now for a break to thank this video's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is an online website builder, and if you've been looking for a place to start your own website, Squarespace could be a perfect fit for you. A great way to get started is to browse through all of their pre-made templates and choose one that you resonate with, and afterwards you can add all of your information and change the fonts and the colors and the layout and tweak it until it fits your desired aesthetic. If you're an artist like me, having a website for your curated portfolio as opposed to a social media page can be a really useful way to share work with clients and for people to get a good overview of your art. So I like to use the portfolios and galleries feature to upload all of my art, drag and drop them to rearrange the images in whatever order I want, and Squarespace will display it all beside each other in a nice uniform grid thanks to the automatic image scaling. To try this out, go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, go to squarespace.com/JelArts and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Trying to not pressure myself about it, I think or see something fun and I sketch it out. That's a pretty good way to sketch. Like, you don't sit down and go, okay, time to draw something amazing, and then you start drawing. You just kind of think, okay, I'm just gonna draw this, I'm just gonna draw that, okay, whatever, just keep drawing, and eventually something good might come out of it, or you're not even concerned about if it's good or bad. I think that's a nice way to approach it. It's hard for me, but I try to do it every day. Consistency is a really good motivator. I think the longer you've kept a habit going, the easier it is to keep going, and the same thing applies to sketching as well. I try to keep my personal and school stuff separate so sketching feels less like work. This is a good idea because when I was in art school, I had a sketchbook that was personal and for school. Like I had it all combined together, and I don't know if I would have been organized or motivated enough to have like 2 separate sketchbooks, one for personal and one for school, because I think we were actually marked on our sketchbooks for one class. So whenever I did personal sketching, I wanted to do it in my school book so that I was like having enough content to show the teacher and to like hand in my sketchbook for grading. I think it's also good to have like a separate personal sketchbook that you know your teachers will not see. That's just for you and for your personal art. That I think that's a really good boundary to have actually, and I might have done that at one point during school when I wanted to like learn anatomy, or like animal anatomy, when I was like drawing a lot of random animal gesture drawings. I didn't keep it up for that long, but I did have one like that where I knew that like nobody was gonna see it. So I can confirm that definitely helps. But I found that like in art school, I was just drawing so much all the time that if I had 2 separate sketchbooks, I don't think they would have really been completed in a timely manner at all. But I don't think that's also necessarily a bad thing. Discovering new art styles, that is really fun as well. Like scrolling through my Instagram feed and finding like a new artist with this really interesting style, and you sort of like download it in your brain and you're like, I really like the way they draw their hair, I like the way they shade eyes, I like the way they draw foliage, and you sort of find little bits and pieces here and there to incorporate into your own work. And just like seeing other artists make really cool stuff is so motivating. It can also be a little bit terrifying because if you try to like, okay, I'm gonna draw something cool as well, and then you sit down and you're like, okay, actually maybe not today, maybe another day, and then you compare yourself to them and you're like, oh hey, I actually can't draw as good as them. So there is a balance, but discovering new art styles is actually so much fun. Like just thinking about it right now makes me want to sketch because I want to like explore different ways to stylize stuff and to simplify shapes, because you never know what you're going to find. Like, not every art style has been discovered yet, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like not every song has been written. There's always new things you can try with your art, and you never know what possibilities await you if you just keep on drawing and keep exploring. Like, how far can you push yourself? I have one for just sketching and learning anatomy, or to get used to markers. And this person also said, my other one is to collect just my ideas, imaginations in a drawing, and to stay in practice. Sometimes Instagram cuts off responses, but I think that was supposed to say practice. Having like 2 separate sketchbooks is totally a great idea, to have like a low pressure one and one where you like generate ideas. That sounds like a really good way to separate the two. I think we all need a low pressure sketchbook. Well, maybe not. I don't have one currently because if I want to do low pressure sketching, I'll just do it in my normal sketchbook. A lot of people have said, the sooner I get the sketchbook done, the sooner I can buy a new one. It's so true. Like, buying a sketchbook is so exciting. There's something so exciting about it. And then when it actually comes to drawing in it, you can sort of lose steam, because I think that like freshness is very exciting. It's like you're opening a new chapter, but then, you know, continuing on can be difficult. Like any habit, like maybe if someone starts to like exercise regularly, it can be exciting at first and then gets more difficult as you go on. And you sort of have to get over that slump. And then when you're done, you're rewarded with getting to buy a new sketchbook or getting to open up a new sketchbook. Sharing my art with friends. I totally agree with this. When I was in art school, it was so nice to be surrounded by a bunch of other artists and like a bunch of other people who are on the same like wavelength as you. Because growing up, I didn't really have any friends that were into art the same way I was. Like, I didn't really have any friends that like kept a sketchbook, that like drew like me and like was aspiring to be like an illustrator in the future. But once I got into illustration in college, it was so nice to be surrounded by so many people who were like the same, and like seeing other people's ideas, seeing people use their sketchbooks, seeing what other stuff people were capable of doing kind of pushed you to try to do even more yourself. And it was just really, really inspiring to be in that kind of environment and to be surrounded by like-minded people like that. So I think that was definitely one of the biggest plus sides of art school, was being surrounded by artist friends. And if you have real life artist friends that you see in person, and you can go on like sketching dates or like go out and draw with them or like show each other your sketchbooks, I think that sort of community is so motivating, and it really just like everyone is like lifted up together, like everyone inspires each other. It's so much fun, and I don't really have that anymore. Like, I do online, but I don't have like in person. I'm not in that like classroom environment anymore. Like, I don't really see people anymore that draw in person. I pretty much covered most of the responses that I got so far. It was really interesting hearing how you stay motivated, and I think I do a lot of these things as well. So if any of these tips helped you, make sure to leave a comment and let me know which one is your favorite, or any additional things you have that help you use your sketchbook, stay motivated, get inspiration. Sometimes inspiration comes to you, but sometimes you have to find it. And motivation kind of comes from motivation. So you have to find motivation in order to continue to be motivated. Like, something doesn't start moving unless it's pushed, if you know what I mean. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of the sketches as well. I don't know why I'm not like that happy with everything. I felt really stiff going into this, and for like 3 days I was filming myself drawing all these things, and I don't know, it just felt like forced for some reason. I'm okay with how it turned out, but it just didn't feel right. I don't know why. Just one of those days, but I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you so much to anyone who submitted ideas for how to stay motivated. I can't get to every single one, but I got to as many as I could in this video. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.